With the Royal Rumble just over a month away, over the past few days, your boy has been on a pretty heavy Royal Rumble binge, and I ended up watching a very special show from my childhood, Royal Rumble 2006. Rumble 06 is a show that I never got to fully watch as a kid, but it's special because I was so invested in the product at the time that it basically has always felt like I had watched this show growing up. Yeah, this was a show that I never got to order, but I remember refreshing.com like a fiend in 06 to find out who the hell won the Rumble. I remember watching the Raw and SmackDown the week after and seeing the little highlights and just being so happy that Ray won and Cena won, and I definitely remember downloading the Rumble match from LimeWire and giving my computer a virus. So despite not ever watching the show in full, just with everything that happened on the show and being so familiar with it, this was a special show from my childhood, and almost 18 years later, I finally sat down and decided to complete the prophecy and watch the show in full, and I did. And this show makes no sense whatsoever. I had no idea, but Royal Rumble 06 is one of the weirdest, strangest, most cracked out shows I've ever seen in my life. From a spaceship to 2006 Mark Henry in the main event to multiple cases of sexual harassment on every level, this show definitely deserves to look back at, and let's get into it. So going to this show, I had no idea this show had a reputation or was infamous, right? So going into it, I just remember the Roman theme and the big moments, and when the show begins, instantly I was hit with one of the most memorable parts of the show, and that was the Roman theme, which was pretty cool to see. From the intro to the stage to the little guys who open the entrance doors to the poster, which by the way is so scary. Linda McMahon is not a real person. Everything is ancient Rome, it's gladiators, it's the gladiator games at the Colosseum, etc, and it works really well. And the first match of the show was a really fun, quick Cruiserweight Open match for their Cruiserweight Championship featuring all the wrestlers on the SmackDown roster who you totally forgot were employed in 06. And Paul London. Paul London's pretty cool. Paul London goes God mode in this match, and for a match that seems so out of place at a Big 4 pay-per-view, it ends up being a pretty great match to open the show. And the man with the greatest Titantron of all time, no, seriously, that was his entire Titantron, Gregory Helms, ends up winning the match and the championship. It's like, okay, a pretty solid start to this show, unexpected, but let's go. And this is where things just get strange, man. So a decent chunk of this pay-per-view actually takes place backstage and involves none other than Vince McMahon. And if it's 06, you already know Vince McMahon, he is this close to catching a case in everything he does. During this time, Vince had a little stable called Vince's Devils running around with them, if you want to call it a stable. Tori Wilson, Candice Michelle, Victoria, and Tori Wilson's dog. So on this show, their whole purpose was to help out Vince give out numbers for the Rumble and to flirt with Vince throughout the show. So literally 12 minutes into the show, we had one match, it was quick, it was easy, and then all you see is just 61-year-old Vince just touching up Tori, touching up Candice, flirting with them, just being a creepy old man. And even the poor dog wasn't safe. Please, for the love of God, can you at least leave the poor dog alone, Vince? Randy pulls up and draws number 30, Triple H pulls up and tells Tori Wilson to open her box and for Candice to hold this ball. Amazing comedy. But as we move on, Mickey and Ashley have a little match in progress, the Trish and Mickey storyline, and it's like, yeah, that's cool, women's wrestling, that's great, but let's go backstage so we can watch Vince touch up Tori some more and see her tattoo. But wait, what is Candice doing? Oh, Candice also wants to show Vince her tattoo. What are we watching here? What kind of wrestling was this? But it's fine, it's fake, it's just a storyline. Quit being a Mark, Pav, this doesn't mean anything, Vince is totally a normal person. But the night goes on, and then after this, it was time for a 5-star classic between the Boogeyman and JBL. Wait, what? Are we sure this is the Royal Rumble? Boogeyman and JBL proceed to have genuinely the strangest match I have seen in my life. Now, I never expected JBL and Boogeyman to ever drop a 5-star classic, but I also never expected for somehow this match to turn into Boogeyman assaulting Jillian Hall and dropping worms into her mouth in the middle of the ring. What the fuck is going on? Yo, what was wrong with this company in 2006? Jillian Hall is getting assaulted, there are worms all over her mouth, there are worms all over the ring. Boogeyman is genuinely terrifying, I must say this. Even growing up, no one had ever scared me in the wrestling world as much as Boogeyman did. This man is terrifying. It can't be a gimmick. There's actually something wrong with this man. JBL gets a mouthful of worms, Jillian Hall gets clapped, the show goes on, and what do they follow this masterpiece up with? Hey, let's go backstage to Vince McMahon catching another case. Vince then proceeds to flirt with another diva and stare at her tits, and then on the casting, the sofa, he asks Tori Wilson, does the dog have a tattoo? Yo, lock this man up. Whatever they say, he did that shit. He guilty as lock him up. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the first hour of this show. This show that in my head was this magical, amazing show that I always thought so highly of, that I always wanted to watch but never got time to. This was the first hour of this show. What the hell was wrong with them? But whatever, it was then time for the Royal Rumble. The thing that everyone remembers from the show, the iconic match, no more backstage segments with the Predator, no more Boogeyman dropping worms into mouths. It was time for the real deal, the '06 Rumble, in which Rey Mysterio was going to hold it down for Eddie and get the win. This match has always held a soft spot in my heart, just fond memories I think for everyone who was alive watching during this time, and everyone remembers the iconic starting for the match. Triple H at 1, Rey Mysterio coming out at 2 in Eddie's lowrider. Rey had the awesome red attire, which when I think of Rey Mysterio, this is the attire I think of, the iconic Rey Mysterio red attire. And we were off to the races, and what everyone remembers from this Rumble is how Rey went 1 hour and 2 minutes in the Rumble and won it all at the end. He set the record at the time for the most time spent, he defied all the odds, and what people don't remember is all the weird shit that happened between then. Yo, this Rumble is weird, man. Simon Dean the Legend was number 3. We had Coachman in the Rumble. Ric Flair grabbed Triple H's thing. Booker T was wearing pants in this match. Guys, Booker T wore pants in a WWE match. You can't tell me that's not cursed. Big Show at this point just looked so massive, the biggest he's ever been. I know for a fact he was getting Big Smoke's order every single day. And yo, you know what's funny looking back at this show? You know, in the modern day, every Royal Rumble we get excited for, I wonder who the surprise entrant's gonna. Yeah, this was before they figured that out. In '06, we got Tatanka. I am 99% sure that half of the people watching this just said, what the f is a Tatanka? No, sadly, it's not the toys we used to play with as kids. It's Tatanka. This match is so strange. The '06 roster was pretty stacked, but it was so top heavy. It's not even funny. Trevor Murdoch, Orlando Jordan, Sylvain Grani, Shelton Benjamin's mom. Yo, you had Viscera doing this, which this just has to be illegal. First of all, how much sexual harassment can take place on a card before the feds are called? And second, Matt Hardy, I am praying that Viscera did not take Viagra before this match. No wonder he's broken. Listen, the point is, everyone remembers this match for the beginning and for the end, and for good reason. It's iconic, it's special, but the 50 minutes between that, it's not good. It's not a pretty sight. But yes, the ending with Rey coming clutch, eliminating Randy and Triple H is an all-time great moment, a heartwarming moment, a legendary moment that I loved as a kid, I love as a man now. But rewatching this match was a trip. One of the funniest parts about this match was Eddie's nephew pulling up, his blood relative pulling up in the match, in a match that was basically like an Eddie Guerrero tribute Royal Rumble, and the poor guy couldn't even get a frog splash off to give tribute to his uncle. Poor guy got absolutely clapped going for the frog splash. It's like, sorry bro, only one man is paying tribute to your uncle tonight, and it ain't you. The company is so lucky that they actually want Rey winning this match, because even as close to the day of the show, there were reports that Vince wanted to go with Randy to win the match, and it was Pat Patterson that convinced Vince to go with Rey. If Randy had won this Rumble, and I love Randy, this would have been an all-time stinky Rumble. But luckily for us, Rey won the match, and the match got immortalized. But it's such a trip. So in case you didn't notice, the Rumble match was actually in the middle of the card, not the main event, not the opener, it was just there. And it's like, okay, they must have some pretty big title matches for the main event, right? Right? Well, the first one definitely was. It was John Cena versus Edge for the WWE title in a rivalry that was just 3 weeks old at this point. It was still one of the hottest rivalries they had in years. But this match was massive. Even though the build was only 3 weeks long, it was 3 weeks post Edge's cash in, 3 weeks post Edge's live celebration, 2 weeks post Edge casually having a TLC match on Raw against Flair. The product in early '06, despite all the weird shit going on, was really hot, and it was all because of these two. Edge's champion in January of '06 was getting insane TV ratings, the best ratings they had in years, and he was walking into Rumble '06 as champion, and there was a lot of speculation that Edge might actually retain. It was Cena versus Edge, a good old-fashioned super heel versus super face. It was gonna be special, it was gonna be massive. Why the f is John Cena coming down from a spaceship? Yo, to this day, I have never seen a more confusing and random entrance on any wrestling show in my life. John Cena comes out to this ETS music, there's smoke everywhere, a platform lowers from the ceiling. We have never seen a platform like this used before or ever again. There's pyro everywhere. Now think, when have you ever seen John Cena get pyro in his entrance that's not WrestleMania? WWE 12 Road to WrestleMania, I guess. And out comes John Cena in this from a spaceship. There's confetti everywhere. The platform looks so dangerous and unsafe. He's jumping around on it. We are lucky that John Cena didn't tear his ACL or something jumping from the platform. What was this entrance? Oh, what a wild, random ass ET phone home ass entrance. It's not even a WrestleMania. It's not some epic third grand finale match, not in his hometown. It was a big match, I guess, but was a spaceship really needed? Listen, it's not bad. It's not a bad entrance. It's really cool. It's just so random because one, they never talked about this ever again after this. Nobody knows why this happened. He just came from a spaceship. When I think of John Cena, there is nothing in his character ever that made me be like, yeah, Yeah, you should come from a spaceship. What? But yeah, jokes aside, to me, this was straight up like, hey, Cena's been getting booed lately on pay-per-views, been kind of getting rejected on some pay-per-views in Raw. What do people like? Spaceships, pal. So random. And the best part is the defending champion, the recently huge draw on TV Edge, yeah, just gets his normal entrance. Thanks, Edge. What a weird show. The spaceship entrance ends up being the most interesting thing about this match. It was legit 10 minutes of Edge beating him up, 2 minutes of a Cena comeback, 1, 2, 3, 12-minute title match. Definitely not the big massive war we thought we were gonna have. Nothing special really happened, especially after all the drama in the build. Like, it was fine, it was alright. Obviously, as a kid, I was so happy that Cena won, but it basically was a prequel for the real Cena and Edge rivalry that we got in the summer of 06. But like, 12 minutes? Really? So yeah, as you can see, this was a really weird night. The Rumble ended up being whatever, yet at the same time as low-key a classic just because of who won and how he won and when he won. Tatanka was a big surprise along with Goldust. Mr. McMahon needed to be locked up as soon as the show was over for his behavior on this show. We spent pay-per-view time on this, and John Cena pulled up in a spaceship for some reason and beat Edge in 12 minutes. Just a random show, strange show, weird show. Wait, there's more? Mark Henry in 2006 versus Kurt Angle for the World Heavyweight Championship was the main event of the Royal Rumble 2006. What a time it was to be alive. After Kurt Angle won the vacant world title on SmackDown, there was only one man worthy of being the #1 contender. Sadly, it was Mark Henry. Mark Henry before his 2011 run was a huge meme in the wrestling world, and rightfully so. And his 2006 push was so out of nowhere that even as a kid who didn't care about work rate or match quality, I just wanted to have fun watching wrestling. Mark Henry was not fun. Henry was so limited, and even Kurt Angle couldn't get a banger out of him. It is still surreal to me that this was the main event of this show. Even watching this in 2024, almost 2025, it feels surreal. Like, I sat there, watched 2 hours and 30 minutes of this pay-per-view, and this was the finale. My brain couldn't comprehend what I was watching, even though I've known for the past 18 years that this closed the show, that this was technically the main event. Just seeing it made it feel even more surreal. Yo, the crowd dies during this match. No, they get assassinated during this match. They get massacred as we witness 5 minutes of Mark Henry wearing down Angle. Just listen to the crowd for a second.
Angle just giving up too much size.
So Angle, by the way, has to cheat to win to beat Mark Henry. Okay, he wins with a roll-up, cool, no problem. This match was only 7 minutes long. 7 minutes, 7 minutes too many. This felt like 20 minutes and not in a good way. 7 minutes too many. So Angle wins and the bell rings, right? And not even 15 seconds later, Angle had barely even celebrated, and in the most obvious attempt at, hey crowd, don't go anywhere. We promise the show's not over. Please don't run away. Let's go off. And it's Undertaker time. Nah, this was actually hilarious because I know that's what happened. That's 100% what happened. This is a company that we know loves to milk and tease, moments. They love to let things breathe, which they do really well, and they love to surprise us. But here, before anyone could even think of leaving, they're just spamming the button. Yo, please play Taker's gong, pal. Press the button, pal. Undertaker comes out, fans literally return to their seats, and out comes Taker. The druids are there, the fire is there. There is a horse for some reason. Yes, a real life horse. He walks out and Angle is just crying. He's selling it like he's about to die. He's shaking in his boots literally, and Taker uses magical power, shoots lightning in the arena like he's Thor, and breaks the ring. And this is how the show ends, by letting us know that, hey, thank you for sitting through Mark Henry versus Kurt Angle. We promise next month we'll have the Undertaker versus Kurt Angle. And that's why this match main evented, because they wanted to break the ring, they wanted the spectacle, so they literally put Mark Henry versus the Undertaker at the end. Could they have just done this earlier in the show and not have Undertaker break the ring? Yeah. But let's have Mark Henry versus Kurt Angle as the main event. And Rumble 06 goes off the air as just a strange show, man. Did I not tell you this show makes no sense whatsoever? What the hell did I watch? What is this show? Jokes aside, like, okay, it's not a bad show. It's not horror. No, it kind of is, low-key. This is a pretty bad show. I didn't want to burst my own bubble because in my head, I always looked fondly at this show. I always assumed it was a good show. It was a solid show. There's always just been this hype around it. I didn't know if I ordered this as a 7-year-old, though. This would have been the greatest night of my life. I would have loved it. Oh my God, Cena retained. Undertaker is back. Ray won. Yay. And I basically did, right? Just watching the highlights and stuff. That's how I always assumed this show was. But when I actually watched it, this show is not a good show. I don't know what kind of crack they were on in early to mid 2006, but this show is a prime example of how cringe it was. Listen, I still love 06, I always will, but this really opened my eyes and reminded me, because a lot of this stuff went over my head as a kid. I didn't know what was happening, but then you actually go back and watch it and it's like, what were they doing? And even in the decisions, it's like, you know what? Maybe Edge should have won this match. Wait, what? What? Maybe Mark versus Angle wasn't the match they should have done. Maybe they should have just done Taker versus Angle 2 times on pay-per-view. Just a strange show, the weirdest backstage segments, even the matches themselves weren't really good. Cena vs. Edge was such a massive letdown. The main event was the main event. The Rumble is iconic and a classic, like I said. But if you actually watch it, it is not that for 50 minutes of the match. Everyone just remembers this night as the night Ray won the Rumble and forgets everything else. Just a weird show. And like I said, I think the reason I'm also really tripped out is I didn't know this show was that bad. I never knew this show had that reputation. It never gets talked about in terms of bad shows. The show got me questioning my whole childhood now. No, I'm joking. In the comments down below, let me know, what are your memories of this show? What do you remember? I am sure that a lot of you grew up watching this, probably had it on DVD or ordered the show. It's all jokes. Don't get butthurt if you love the show. But please try to go back and watch this so you can see what the hell I saw as a grown up. It's your boy Pav, aka WrestlinGifs. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I had a lot of fun making it. I'll be back with more content in a few days. Till then though, take it easy, stay safe out there, and once again, thanks for watching. Later guys.